Okay, so this is probably the longest piece of styling I'm going to show you. You'll notice there are 3 parts. So this is all CSS cascading style sheet. There are 3 parts to the styling, and then there's a very simple piece of code down here. So very quickly, what I'm going to show you is the reason there are 3 parts to the navigation styling. We've named a new place, a new style called top nav, and this will define how this navigation, the whole navigation bar across here, will look. Notice we have things like the background color, so if I change that to save that, refresh, you'll see that changes here. Then we have top nav. Anything that's in the top nav that's also what's called A, which is what we use for hyperlinks. So here, these hyperlinks here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change, I'll tell you what, I could change the background color. I want to make those pink. Let's see if this works. It should work. Okay, so that shows those are hyperlinks. Let's make them slightly different. Okay, you can see that they're slightly different because each of these sections is a link. We've told it's a color. One other useful thing, I'm floating right, which means they're all at the right hand side here. I could float left, and if I save, refresh, there you see they've all moved to the left. Finally, the third one, top nav A hover. This is what's called a pseudo class. Okay, it's for anything that's a hyperlink, the A, but also only pardon me, when it's hovered over. So if I change that, you'll notice I went red when I hovered over it. If I change that, it should be blue when I hover over it. I've just had to refresh. There. Okay. And then the way it's used, here is me defining and opening up top nav, and here's it closing. And then here are the 3 hyperlinks. Now all of this code I've taken again from the W3 Schools. If you search for the CSS website layout page, it gives all of this, and I'm working through this. And if you go onto the try it yourself, you'll find there top nav A, top nav hover, and then it's using it down here. So I've changed mine a little bit. For instance, I've changed the name, the wording here to match here. In a hyperlink, which we'll look at in a lot more detail in a later video, and notice the wording that will appear on the screen is here. That matches this wording here. And whatever appears in this section here is where the link will jump to. And if we haven't got another page, or if we don't want to set that yet, we just put a hash, excuse me, and then the link doesn't go anywhere. That's a good way of making it work, but stay where it is. I'll talk about your hyperlinks and about where you set these in a later video. And just for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom in if I can. I'd like to make your page smaller. No. So I'm sorry to jump so suddenly, but what I wanted to do was finish the video on screen, having the styling here within the style section. This is all of the styling you need. And then here is the code that you need for the menu. So between the styling and this HTML, you'll be able to make your navigation bar.